I'm looking at a post about salaries Americans say they consider the minimum to be financially successful. And it shows that boomers say it's about 100,000, Gen X says it's about 212,000, millennials say it's around 181,000, and Gen Z says it's $588,000 a year. So what's the deal? Is Gen Z just completely off of their nut, or is stuff just so much more expensive that they're gonna need that much more to get going? That is what we're talking about today on The Next. Welcome to The Next. We're talking about what kind of salary it really takes to be financially successful and maybe even to survive in the year 2025. I am your host, Rob Grant, and I'm excited to rant about this for a little bit with you. So, looking at this post, this was, admittedly, it's a small group. It's like 2,300 people, 2,200 people, 2,203 people in September of 2024. And the boomers say, hey, 100,000 is financially successful. All right, so thinking about that, we're just going to contrast these. Gen Z, I should define these. Boomers are folks born between 1946 and 1964. So they say 100,000 is good. Gen X, which I thought I used to be, but woohoo, I'm too young for that, I guess, is from 1965 through 1980. They say $212,000 is the ticket. Millennials are born from 1981 through 1996, if you can believe this. They say it's 181,000, so they say it's actually a little bit less than Gen X. I mean, 180, that's $31,000 a year difference. And Gen Z, born from 1997 through 2012, that's crazy. Say it's $588,000. That's a wild departure for many of those. I mean, that's more than double what the next highest group says it should be. So what's the answer here? Is Gen Z crazy? Is stuff really that expensive? That's a great question. So thinking this through, I'm going to go ahead and just put this out there right now. $588,000, you are wildly successful. I mean, if you can't make it, now there's how should I say this? There are a couple other pieces of this, right? Like leaving out how much work you're doing. I mean, if you're killing yourself, if you're doing a job you hate, if you do something that is immoral or illegal, those things have an impact here. But leaving all that stuff aside, say you're working a decent job or a job that you really enjoy, doing something that does some social good, and you're making $588,000 a year, and you've got enough stability to work that job for, say, 5 years, you're an idiot if you can't live a great life on that. Or you live in California. I've never lived there, but I've heard it's very expensive. Or you bought a house on the coast in Florida or something like it. Like you're gonna have to really screw up for dang near $600,000 a year. Shoot, if you work for 10 years, I'm telling you right now, if I made $600,000 a year, I would work for 10 years and then I would be done. Between what I put away for retirement and what I did in investments that I could get a hold of right away, that would be it. You would never hear from me again. That's crazy. Think about that. $6 million, that'll, as long as you're not crazy, like $6 million will last you 20, 30, 40 years. I mean, it just depends on how you're living. It could last even longer than that. Think about what you're spending now. Okay, so that's not what we came here to discuss, though. What is the right number? Now, financially successful is going to be dependent on who you talk to, so that's probably not a good metric to look at. What does it take just to live? Let's think about this for a second. I'm going to probably take some notes, and then you're going to hear me clicking and clacking and making noise here. Okay, so let's think for a second. So I live in Rapid City, South Dakota. Not necessarily representative of the entire nation, but we're probably a pretty good average here. So let's go even above the average. Let's say that it takes $2,000. Golly, that's probably in the neighborhood. All right, $2,000 to live in a apartment, right? Like you have to have that. All right, so $2,000. Let's say your utilities. You know, you got $100 for internet. You've got, for us, it's $200 for electricity. Ouch. Then you got another, whatever, just say $100 for gas. And let's say water. For us, water is, it's quite a bit, but let's just say $200 for water or something like that. Okay. And then groceries, it depends on how big your family is, but they're stupidly expensive. For my family, it's like $1,200 a month. That's for 4 people trying to eat somewhat healthy, but we ain't buying organic food. So anyway, let's say you could get away if you had 2 or 3 people. We're gonna put $1,000 on that for groceries. I mean, that's everything. That's toiletries and stuff like that too, and then all the food that you're gonna eat. But that's still not a small amount. Okay. If you don't want to hate your life, let's see, what else am I missing? All right, you got a car. I don't know, car payments are nuts. We'll say $500 for a car. You should not make car payments. I would talk about that another time. And then you're probably going to have another $200 for your car insurance every month. And I might be being conservative here, but let's just see what it ends up with, and then we can round up if we want to. Okay, so we got all those things. If you want to do fun stuff, I don't know, eating out every week and doing cool stuff, let's say at $150 a week or something like that, $600 a month for, we'll say, fun stuff. So that's everything. This might be kind of Spartan, but let's add these things up real quick here because I'm not real good at math. I'm going to use my calculator. Okay, so $2,000 for housing, $100 for internet, $200 for electricity, $100 for gas, $200 for water, $1,000 for groceries, $500 for car payment, $200 for car insurance, plus $600 for fun stuff. Okay, so that puts us at $4,900. So as close as doesn't matter to $5,000. So you gotta have $5,000 just for those things. Now this does not take into account things like health insurance, dental insurance, putting any money away for retirement, things like that. So if you're gonna add those things in, you're gonna add a whole bunch. But let's pretend that if you are employed and your employer gives you a decent match, let's put that over and above this. Okay, so $5,000 for a pretty Spartan existence adds up to $60,000 a year. Now, this is before everything else, so this is where it gets really rough, and this is where I think we're going to come close to, I think whatever the average salary in the U.S. now is somewhere in this neighborhood, or the amount that you have to live on or to accomplish anything is something like 90,000, and that's probably bearing out here because we got 60 grand to just make a living and have kind of a decent time. Plus, you're gonna need another, I don't know, say your company matches 3% or something like that, because you're gonna want to put in at least that 3%. Golly, that's not gonna be enough either. All right, so I was trying to get scientific here, but here's the punchline. Golly, it's 60,000 that you have to have after tax to make this work. So if you got benefits on top of that, you got to be making dang near $100,000 a year just to accomplish that. And if you want to be purchasing a home, then you're certainly going to need that so that you can qualify and so that you're able to pay that increased bill. So that's 60,000. You could probably make it on, let's say, if somebody wants to check me on this, that's great. But it's going to take at least $75,000 a year to live pretty average based on what it costs to live where I live in Rapid City, South Dakota. So here's a punchline. Financially successful. I don't know what that means, but if it means that I don't really want for anything, like I can get whatever I want, the number is certainly more than $100,000. So sorry, boomers, that's not going to cut the mustard here. Gen X says it's $212,000. That's probably actually pretty reliable, and millennials are around 181,000. All right, so somewhere in between, we'll average the two of those. And it sounds like that's probably where this needs to end up. So we're not going to comment. I'm not here to comment on Gen Z and why they think that it's $600,000, but you can live fabulously on that. If you can't, then something's gone wrong. I mean, that's an amazing life. And what kind of value is there for what you do? I mean, that's a great question. I don't know. So let's see here, divided by 2. All right, so somewhere $196,450. You're going to be doing pretty darn well. You can live a pretty great life. You can go on some really cool vacations. You'll be able to invest. You're going to be in good shape there. So really, the average altogether, if you include Gen Z, is $270,000 to be financially successful. when you average them all together, it seems like it's wisdom of the crowds. We're probably pretty accurate there. Here's why this matters. Why are boomers saying it's only $100,000? Odds are it's that a lot of the stuff that they bought was less expensive when they bought it. Gen X might be in the same neighborhood here. So maybe Gen X isn't as far off as we think, because 1965 to 1980 was the average cost of a new home in, let's see, those folks would have started working in like 1998, right? So let's say average cost of a home. Let's ask ChatGPT here if I can find it. What was the average cost of a home in 1998? What was the average cost of a home in 1998? Come on now. It's working on it. It's thinking really hard. It's using the whole power of the internet. I should have Googled this. That's all I got. Oh, here we go. Okay, so average home price, according to the U.S. Census Bureau and Federal Reserve data, was approximately $129,300 for median existing home price and $152,500 for average price against all home sales. Okay, cool. What's the average price of a new home today? I can't spell. The average today. And the answer is mother of pearl. Searching the web. ChatGPT is working on it. I have a feeling it's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $450,000. Oh, it's trying real hard. And hear the spinning up. It is currently, all right, I was in the neighborhood, $415,000. Okay, so average home value across the U.S. is around $363,932. Okay, so it's more than double. So if you look at it from that perspective, then Gen Z is not so far out there, right? Let's do one last math problem here, and then I'll get to the point. Okay, so let's say 152,500 versus I don't care about home value. I want home price. 415,200. Okay, so keep that one, folks. Alrighty, so that is an increase of, I know my math ain't perfect here, but it's gone up almost 2/3, okay? So like 66%. So I'm going to use my same imperfect math between Gen X and Gen Z. 212,300 against 587,800. Mother of pearl, y'all. It's about the same. So it's a 60, math is hard. It's a 64% difference. So I think the other one I said was 62. Look at that. So it's within 2% the average value of a home when they were turning 20. And Gen Z would be 97 to 07 to 17. That's not, this isn't perfect, y'all, but it's really, really close. So it looks like what this is tied to is the average amount that you're making a year versus the average cost of a new home. So Gen X said, hey, if I make more than the cost of a home in a year, I'm financially successful. Looks like we got the same thing with Gen Z. It really works out mathematically. Okay, Rob, so what's the point of this whole rant? 1, I needed a podcast episode for this week. Sorry. 2, this is something I'm really into. And 3, when you are looking for work, it makes sense. People are, oh, well, take whatever job and do whatever else. Dude, people are dying. It's really, really hard to afford to live right now. Groceries are $1,000. Housing is unbelievably expensive. People, I mean, when I was first looking at renting a place, I would have never considered a place that was $2,000 a month. So it is expensive. It is hard. You deserve, if you're seeking, if you're struggling where you are, you get to own that. It is the truth, not just your truth, whatever that means. It is objective truth that it is hard. It costs a lot. And I don't think there's a lot of jobs out there paying $588,000 a year. So as much as that may actually be a fair comparison to what Gen X believed or believes, I guess they believe it now, is a good total salary, it makes sense that you feel that way. I wouldn't have thought that before I started this. So that's crazy. Gen Z making dang near $600,000 a year as a benchmark of financial success actually makes sense from a people standpoint when compared with Gen X. So who knew? Here's the punchline. Keep on working at it. You are worthy. You are going to get something as long as you keep on working hard, you stick to your convictions, and you find the thing that lights you up and keep on pursuing it with whatever you can. In the meantime, do something where you can enjoy the part of the work that, at least part of the work every day. I'm here all the time. I'm excited for what you are going to be able to achieve as you keep this up. But point number one is you have to stick around. You have to keep trying. I know this is tough, so if I can be of any encouragement or any of this gobbledygook is interesting or encouraging to you, or you believe it would be to somebody else, please share it with them. Whatever platform you're on, I would be so honored for a subscription or a follow or whatever they call it. And I will keep bringing this kind of stuff to you and even some useful stuff too. All right. Thanks so much. Keep at it. Things are going to keep improving as long as you do. Thanks so much for being here. See ya.